Detroit Lions fans, Detroit Den 313 back with another one. Stephen Will here, ready to talk some Detroit Lions football. Detroit Lions victory football. But before we do, hit that subscribe button if you haven't for some reason, and think about becoming a member because there's some things. I got a Isaac
Mm.
Tesla jersey sitting right next to me. Touchdown guy. We'll get into that. And Steve's got some other things. I got some other things floating around here too as well coming up in the next couple of weeks. I know Steve put out a challenge, whatever. But Steve, where you want to start with this thing? Well, first things first. Do you own Cincinnati now? Have you taken over? Like where are we standing out there?
I was going to ask you if you could hear the Lions fans chanting at any point in the game. There was a ton. There was a lot. I wouldn't say took over the stadium, but we made sure they couldn't do their stripe out for sure. They had a plan
Mm,
to stripe out the stadium and do the color coordinated orange and black. I only saw like maybe two sections I thought that were able to pull that off. I'm assuming that was like the season ticket holder sections at the far end. But
mm,
waves of Detroit Lions fans. Well, I thought we were
mm.
very noticeable during the game. I don't know what you could hear on the broadcast, but Cincinnati, beautiful stadium, absolute beautiful city. Great fans, great experiences. Kind of a little friendly trash talk that was expected, but nobody over the top, nobody saying anything rude or disrespectful. There was one guy, but I'll let that go. I won't mention what he said. But altogether, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 trip,
Yeah.
perfect experience. Uh, Got a little close there at the end. Well, I had some questions about are we able to put this game away? But well, I'm sure we'll dive into that. But what was it like on the broadcast side?
It was like this towards the back half of that game, Steve. Jared Goff, Jared Goff. That's what it was like. And I saw lots of blue as they panned around the stadium. I will say I agree with you from what we saw from our end. It didn't look like we necessarily took the place over, but there was a substantial amount of blue clusters that I saw throughout the stadium, which I thought was pretty cool. It gave me a warm fuzzy, man. We go out on these road takeovers for less of a better word. But we go out on these things, and I worry that my boy's okay. So when I saw all the Lions Honolulu blue out there, it made me feel good.
Yeah, travel safe. And again, if you ever have a chance to catch a game down in Cincinnati, highly, highly recommend, especially if you're like me when the weather's nice. I don't want to come down here when it's wintertime with an outdoor stadium. So if you can get an early game before November, highly, highly, highly recommend. I'll tell you this. I think this was my best football experience outside of the state of Michigan, without a
Yeah,
doubt. And I've been to some college stadiums, a couple NFL stadiums. Cincinnati was probably at the very, very top of the list.
yeah. I mean, securing a win in the fashion that we did always always helps. So where you want to start talking about this game, man?
Hot ticket, William. We talked earlier about Taylor Decker being out.
Yeah.
Giovanni Manu didn't love what I saw. I don't know what you saw. He was really trial by fire today, and I felt like that fire was scolding hot for him at moments. I noticed in a lot of formations, the Lions had to put two tight ends on his side of the field to mainly help with Trey Hendrickson. I doubt that was something other than hey, they have a absolute monster of a pass rusher, and we have a guy who has never played a snap in the NFL or at the college level. I think that our college ranks are better measuring sticks and have better talent than, no offense, the Canadian Football League or whatever. I can't remember the name of the thing that he came from over there in Canada, but I think our colleges are better suited for NFL talent. And Gio got baptized a couple times today, Will, from what I saw. I think he was responsible for one-on-one of blocking on Trey Hendrickson on the sack where Jared Goff fumbled the ball. I personally don't think it was a fumble. It looked like his arms going forward, but I'm not a referee. They dictated and said otherwise, so it was a fumble. I did not like that. I thought there was a couple plays later in the game where Trey Hendrickson was just being a game wrecker. How did you feel about Gio?
I think uh, he played exactly how I expected him to play. It wasn't terrible. There was moments where he was himself. He was the same guy that I saw in preseason, not going against Trey Hendrickson, so not going against starting level talent. So, did I see some flashes of things that make me encouraged for the future? I did, but that's the whole potential thing. That's the whole project thing. I didn't. I'll tell you this, Steve. I didn't see anything that's going to get me away from taking a strong look in this upcoming draft. So there's that. Not giving up on him. He did show some flashes in the run game, but to me, this game was this game plan was more about game planning around him than it was about what I saw out of him, because I don't even think I can truly assess what he is or how he played because we did so much game planning around him. I thought we started off exactly how you said. We started off with two tight ends helping him out, supporting him. After that, I saw a lot of running towards Panay Sewell. A lot of times I seen him in a down block position, leaving Trey Hendrickson unblocked and just throwing quick game away from Trey Hendrickson. So I got to tip my hat to Coach Morton, to Hank, man, Coach Fraley. They came up with a phenomenal game plan, not having Taylor Decker, and to put Gio in a position to where he couldn't get exposed all game. So I thought that was special, and I got to tip my hat to those guys for what they did. Gio in the run game, I know we got a couple people that comment he's a bulldozer. He's a bulldozer. I didn't see bulldozer. I did see some good blocks though here and there. I did see some flashes of some cutting people off, some flashes of stalemating people and open up some creases. But by no means did I see, hey, we're running behind Gio either. So I don't know what this means from a future standpoint. I know he's a guy who's really committed and he really wants it really bad. So um, I don't know, Steve. I think it's 50-50 on if he ever is a starter for the Detroit Lions.
50-50 is pretty generous in my opinion, but we'll talk about that probably at a later date. Because I'm with you. I don't know that I saw, hey, this is my left tackle of the future. Because you're going to get baptized by great pass rushers. That's exactly what the Bengals did. That's what they should have done. I thought the Bengals defense played phenomenal today, especially in the first half, given what their offense was doing with Jake Browning throwing the ball to the Detroit Lions. And I'm not going to complain, but I thought that the Lions were in a position to where maybe that could have been like a 35-3 at halftime game. But the Bengals defense played phenomenal, and we had to game plan our whole offense around what is Trey Hendrickson going to do? Because like you said, you broke it down perfect. Some quick passes away from him, running toward Penei Sewell. And I think the Bengals knew that too. I think that's why the Lions didn't really dominate the rushing game today like I expected, because a lot of our runs were going to the right because they didn't want Trey Hendrickson to have an impact. Or if he was on the right, we tried to run to the left. I think the Bengals kind of caught on to that at some point, and our running game kind of came through when we needed it at the end of the game, when we needed to pick up some first downs and bleed some crucial clock. So I can't complain too much, but Trey Henderson's just that kind of player. And hats off to the Bengals defense. They played phenomenal, especially in the first half. I feel like we let them hang around, but offensively, Will, what kind of stuck out to you other than Gio?
Jared Goff playing catch. I talked about it in the pre-podcast coming into the game, and it was the exact people that we talked about. He was playing catch with St. Brown. He was playing catch with Laporta. Uh, at some points, he was just making, especially the start of the game, it just looked easy. He took Trey and that defensive line out of the game just by being decisive with his throws, hitting guys in open windows, and at one point it looked like Trey was a little bit discouraged by it. I seen him. He had a nice little rush, made a nice little move on Gio, and then the ball was gone, and he was just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I can't imagine, you're doing your best to get back there, but on the back end of this thing, because we talk about it all the time, so players talk about it. These guys are attached on a string, so if this D line is getting home, we need the back end guys to hold on till we can get there. If you're not, don't matter how fast you are as a D lineman, you're not going to wreck plays if your secondary and your linebackers are getting beat right off of the line of scrimmage. So, don't feel bad for him because he's not a Detroit Lion, but it was interesting to see how we were dealing with that. So the biggest thing offensively that I saw right out of the gate would be Jared Goff playing catch, and it did look like we were running the football solid. I don't want to say that it was like dominant because I did kind of expect a little bit more, and I think it would have been a little better if Decker was out there. But we were running the football solid. We weren't having really any issues getting denied running the football. I think it was some bad plays here and there, negative plays, and just the Bengals being tough defensively and making plays at good moments to get us kind of stall out some drives. But Jared Goff looked like Jared Goff. What'd you see?
Yeah, I think we just had to do what we had to do today to just get the ball out of his hands because the few times that I think we tried to set up some long passing plays, Trey Henderson just wasn't having any of it, or whoever was going up against Gio was just kind of having a day and was not making that possible. Because I thought Jared Goff was under pressure more today than he had been the last 3 weeks. We talked about it a couple days ago. Jared Goff hadn't been sacked in 3 games. I think he only had like 7 pressures in that span, so our offensive line was absolutely dominating the other teams. But Trey Hendrickson is one of one. He's in a category all on his own. So he creates. If you're trying to double and triple team him, some other guys for the Bengals were winning some one on ones. But that's just going to happen. We have the same type of player on our team who does the same thing. So it's kind of like I felt like we were kind of watching two great pass rushers today. It was kind of a treat to see Aiden Hutchinson and Trey Hendrickson, if you're into that, because that's probably my favorite aspect of football is watching people rush the passer. Running game, didn't love it. Again, like you said, we got it done. That's all that matters. But 33 carries combined as a team, 118 yards, an average of 3.6. I think our average was close to 5 the last 3 games, if I'm not mistaken. Only one rushing touchdown. But we got it done when we needed to. Late in the game, David Montgomery came in, picking up 5, 6 yard chunks and just kind of moving the chains, moving the clocks. I thought that was probably the most important part for how that game was going. Pitch and catch with Amon St. Brown, 8 catches, 100 yards. Didn't get in the end zone. I think this is his. I think this is his first game not scoring. I can't remember if he scored in the Packers game, but I know he scored the previous 3. Sam Laporta, Lagoda, as some would call him, and Mayotron. I don't know, 1 catch, 12 yards, and a touchdown. Will, I don't know if you're ready to start throwing out nicknames for him yet, but it might be time to have that discussion because that's all he does is catch touchdowns and big plays. He had to use 2 hands today. It was absolutely insane. I didn't even know he had a second hand.
Well, I was gonna say his first Detroit Lions reception with 2 hands,
Yeah.
with 2 hands. Hey, hats off to that man. I'm excited to see what he does, man, when he gets some more opportunities. But I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Cincinnati Bengals getting back into this football game. Uh, Sitting watching it with the family. Next thing you know, the family's going, Dad, like this is a game. Like this is After that Jamar Chase breakdown, for lack of a better words, Meek just being a Meek, just being an aggressive corner, and I'm going to get into that as well when we talk about defensive talk. But uh, they make that play. Seems like they're in the game. Almost get an onside kick. That's another one. Like it just seemed like the momentum was kind of going in their favor. And then Steve, we just put out a dominant punch you in the mouth. Go sit down somewhere. Drive. You know what I mean? Like I feel this is the difference between good teams and great teams. When a great team gets put in a position where they have to respond, it's exactly what they do. We had a long, drawn out drive where we just marched the ball down the field, finished them off, and then went on about our merry way. And at no point did I get stressed on whether or not we were going to win or lose the game. Now, was there a respect level there? Chase starts making some plays, momentum starts to sway a little bit. There was, but once we marched down, game was over in my mind, and that's what we're looking for. We talk about it all the time. Want to wake up on a Sunday, not stressed, never worried during the football game. I want to know that my boy Steve is out there having a party out there in Cincinnati, having a good time, drinking beers, watching people cry, taking ice cream from babies, and that's what it felt like to me.
I'm not going to lie to you, William. If the Bengals would have got that onside kick, I think it would have been a very, very interesting feeling in that stadium to see what could happen because that was one of the closer onside kicks I'd seen, and I didn't have a great look at it from where we were sitting. But I know anytime the ref starts pulling people off piles after an onside kick, you're never for sure, and it felt like an eternity waiting for him to signal who had the ball. So if they get that onside kick, who knows? They were only down, I think,
Yeah.
11 at that point, so
Mm-hmm.
with more than 2 minutes left, so it could have been a whole different ball game. But defensively, um, I felt like we dominated the first half of the football game. Defensively, all kinds of. I don't think they. I think they had 3 turnovers. No, the third interception was the first opening drive of the second half. But felt like defensively we were just not giving up the run. It couldn't pass. Nothing was open. Sticky coverage. Maybe some help with some bad throws. But I didn't love what I saw in the fourth quarter defensively. I don't know if it was just we were playing too loose, but I can't imagine a world where you're game planning and you say, "Hey, we're just going to leave Jamar Chase wide open on a play." I don't know what happened on that one. Wasn't really paying attention from where we were, But I just saw the ball go in the air, and I look and I say, "Oh, there's no one within 15 yards of Jamar Chase. If that's not over his
Yeah.
head, it's probably going to be a touchdown." So defensively, didn't love the fourth quarter. That's probably my only complaint of the game.
I got some hot takes defensively.
Oh
I got
boy,
some
hot
hot
takes,
takes.
hot takes, hot,
Yeah.
hot, hot.
Um, I'm gonna say this, and I'll say this first because I know people. I was already going back and forth a little bit on Twitter with somebody, but it's an absolute sin that Amik doesn't start. It's a sin. Like I don't understand it. He's the best press man corner on our team. Period. Period. And I know people are already typing. Your thumbs are probably already going. He was on Chase when Chase got the touchdown. How can you say that he's the best press man corner? Hey, we hammer TA when TA makes mistakes. Buckle your seatbelt. Let's talk about it. Um, so in that situation with where Chase came wide open, he ran a double move on Amik. Amik is an aggressive press man corner. He bit and he bit hard, and then he ran by him and scored a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like when you have an aggressive press man corner who is trying to run routes, because on his interception on Jamar Chase, he ran the route, Steve. Like I don't know if he was in the huddle when they called it, but he ran the route and intercepted the football. Period. In the discussion. A guy who's aggressive like that, you're gonna have to deal with a couple of times a season. He's going to guess wrong, or he's going to be aggressive and be wrong, and he's going to have to deal with that. He did the same thing when he was going against Justin Jefferson when everybody talked about how great he was. There was a couple of times where Justin Jefferson was wide open, right? But the D-line got home. There wasn't time to get him the football, and all was well in the world. Nobody ever talks about that. So the bottom line is, for a Meek style of play, you're going to have to deal with certain situations where guys get open per his style. It just is what it is. Now, what I'm not okay with is the penalties that impact us negatively or take sacks away from guys like Aiden Hutchinson or interceptions
Uh,
off of the board.
a
Yeah,
safety, wasn't it, that they took away the
yeah,
first time Aiden had a
yeah,
safety and they got overturned?
yeah. Absolutely. So, these are things, and it's going on throughout this season. There's been an interception where there was a penalty on the interception where the corner, and I don't like getting in negative after we just won. We'll probably get into it during the week, but or just being in positions, because I thought that there was a situation to where there wasn't a PI called, where there was a pass breakup that looked like PI to me, and I'm gonna give my corners every single uh lobbying against calling PI that I can, but real recognize real. I thought that we got away with the PI. So for those reasons, when I watch a Meek at the point of attack or at the catch point, he's there. He's got his hands in between the guy's hands. He's fighting the guy, or he's at the guy's hip. He's not holding the hip, but he's there to wrap and make the tackle while he's trying to swipe and bat the ball down. Guys like Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph had a beautiful pass breakup. Brian Branch gets a bunch of them. There are guys that do it at a high level. We got some guys that are struggling with that point. To me, Steve, Amik, it's a sin that Amik don't start. I thought Rock Yassin played out of his mind today. He looked phenomenal playing man to man and in zone as well. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, just that secondary. Vontae Maddox coming in and playing. I know that we're a little bit banged up. TA went out with the shoulder injury, but we could be in a situation to where we actually get scarier because the guys that are coming in are a little bit better currently. Now, again, is this me giving up on anybody? No, I'm not giving up on anybody, but I thought we were a team that puts the best guy out there. I just don't understand how Amik don't start at outside corner because I just can't. I cannot figure out how he's not the best press man corner in anybody's eyes. I think this just boils down to you got your first round draft pick. He has to be out there playing outside corner.
That's probably exactly what it is. Well, I was waiting on you to say that because there's a reason Taron Arnold starts. It's because the Detroit Lions invested so much into him, trading up in the draft to take him. And you also, I was waiting, pins and needles, waiting on you to say, how is he not starting, especially with the injury to DJ Reed? How is he not starting football games? I don't know. We'll have to dive into that later. But I'll tell you what's really been chapping my ass lately, Will, is defensive holding when the quarterback doesn't even throw the ball. Now I get it. It's a hold. Is it a pass play? It's not officially a pass play. I mean, if you're getting sacked And then it's like, oh, defensive holding. Well, I don't know. I just hate the NFL and some of the stupid rules that I've seen it kind of screw us. I think in three straight games now where we've had a massive sack or an interception and it's defensive holding, but the quarterback's not even throwing the football yet. Like, I don't know. I think they should look into that, but that's just me. I'm not going to complain about a win or especially the last three wins, but just something that's really like, I feel like I've just noticed that. Like, we lost the Terry Arnold had his first interception, defensive holding. We had a strip sack last week, defensive holding. We had a strip sack or a safety this week, defensive holding. Like, the quarterback's not even throwing the ball, and it's just bailing them out. And I know that we got to take that. It's a double-edged sword. It happens to us sometimes, and we think it's great. But I really just hate that rule where you should at least have to make a forward pass to get a defensive holding or a defensive pass interference. Just my two thoughts. I know the NFL will never probably care what old Steve Perkins has to say, but I'm just going to vent my frustration with that small little penalty that I don't like. Well,
Yeah, I can appreciate it. Coach Campbell tried to do the same thing. They didn't care what he had to say either. So I think
I,
they're not going
I
to care about
stand
us.
in unison with Coach Campbell on the front lines
Yeah.
of this battle. I will take my sword and we will go to war together because I absolutely hate it.
I understand. I understand completely. You know what I don't hate?
Lions wins. I don't hate Lions wins.
Lions wins, and I definitely don't hate our linebacking core. I'm starting to get into a feeling, Steve, where I'm
Is
starting
your
to
next
believe
son
that
going to be named Jack Campbell?
it's not off the
It's a
table.
sin. Yeah, I was going to say it's a sin if it's not at least being thought about.
Yeah, he's playing like a man. That punch out was nasty. He made some phenomenal plays, just physical, led us in tackles again. He's earning that green dot. Thor, Alex Anzalone, he made a phenomenal play. The interception was great, but I felt like he was just underneath. Jake didn't see him, and he just picked it off. But he made a play where he broke on the football and broke it up at the catch point. That was nasty. That was nastier than the interception to me. He's playing well, and then I feel like the unsung hero of this thing is Derek Barnes. People are still getting over a Derek Barnes play that I'm not even going to mention, but I seen it talked about on Twitter today because somebody was giving Derek Barnes his flowers for playing well, and they're like, "Man, don't forget about this, and
The
this." And
Dallas game, the Dallas game from two
yeah,
years ago.
yeah,
Yeah, come on, let's move
yeah.
on. Let's
Yeah.
let's move on.
Let it go, man. Let it go. But I think he's an unsung hero, man. He can rush the passer. He can drop back into coverage. He can support the run game. He can play on the line of scrimmage with his hand in the dirt. He can play standing up. He's just another utility knife for this defense, man. I really like what Derek Barnes is able to do, and I'm starting to really understand what Coach Shep meant when he said, "I gotta have this guy," because I guess he went to bat for Derek Barnes and said, "Listen, I need him in my room. He's a must-have." So, and he's showing why. Cincinnati kid got to show out in front of the hometown. Him and David Montgomery, who question Steve on a demo. You got to start a quarterback next week in the game. You don't have Jared Goff. The only two quarterbacks on your roster you got is Hendon Hooker and David Montgomery. Who you starting?
David Montgomery, without a doubt. It's not even close.
Yeah,
I didn't even need you to fully ask the question. You could have said any player on the team, and I would have chose them over Hendon Hooker. Also, David Montgomery's mom sitting about three rows in front of us. Pretty cool to see. I heard they put his sister
yeah, Kiki.
on the screen after the touchdown, so that was pretty cool. And I think it was David Montgomery. There's no way that I could. This wasn't his mom. They were identical twins, and she was wearing a 5 jersey. Had mom on the back. We watched where she went, like 4 rows in front of us. Absolutely cool. Hell of a game. Anything else for tonight, Will?
Uh, Let me look. Nope. I talked about Rock. Nah, man. We'll get into some stuff this week. We talk about it all the time. Don't really want to get into critiques, grievances on the post game victory shows, man. Just want to be thankful for the victory that we had in front of us. I don't think the score is indicative to what the game really was. It was a dominant Detroit Lions victory to where the Cincinnati Bengals made it respectable at the end of this thing. Now we got a big week ahead of us, man. Kansas City Chiefs, man. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I think the Bengals played tough. Hats off to that defense. They were put up against it, especially in that first half. But I do feel like the Lions could have capitalized on those turnovers and turned that into touchdowns. And we only did it, I think,
Mm-hmm.
once in the first half. So well, I think the Bengals made it interesting at the end. An onside kick away from having me puckered up for the rest of the game, but we avoided that. Stick around, hit that like. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.